Dr. Salduka, thank you very much for joining us from Durban. You are, I believe, a member of the Psychiatry Management Group and a big opponent of the potential downgrading of cannabis from a Schedule 7 to a Schedule 6 drug this month being used for medicinal purposes. Would you like to just tell us, first of all, what your major concerns are?
Hi, thanks. First, let me just qualify. I am a director on PsychMG, but I'm not a major opponent of the cannabis per se. I just we kind of want to add a cautionary element to the discussion for the downgrade. And the issue really is that there seems to be a blanket perception of cannabis in that it's firstly, the information that's put out there has been predominantly on the social media platforms and not specifically from scientific sources. So what has happened as a result is, as psychiatrists, we are seeing patients coming in who are saying cannabis is safe and we can use it. And especially in the younger population, they end up developing psychoses and severe acute ailments or illnesses of the brain, when the issue really is that the discussion is around medicinal use in specific population groups, not general use in all age groups. So that's the confusion, and that's what's causing a lot of problems. I don't think there's been clarity provided on that in the media and from the official sources.
Well, on that note, what exactly is, because I think it does sound like a grey, it does seem to be a grey area. You know, you've got medical cannabis, cannabis oil. It's not the same as what you would be smoking or mixing, in your cookie mixture. The way it's taken recreationally. What is being legalized? Is it the entire plant in all its uses?
My understanding is that the legalization is, there are existing medicinal, pharmaceutically produced extracts of cannabis, and that's being downgraded. But the one that's being spoken about largely in the social media are the ones that are the substances which are being produced in homes and in sort of informal growth areas where the oil is being extracted or created from the plant directly. Now, there's a lot of misconception that what we smoke or what people smoke and the oil that's being used is different. It's actually the same thing in a different delivery method. So that falls into the unstructured and the production that's informal at the moment. And that's the part that we have problem with, because it's difficult to tell the strains, the dosages, the mix of the different types of the cannabis plant that's being. So we, in other words, we don't know what people are getting with that, and therein lies the problem.
So, I mean, this is what you have said and stated, is that there not enough research has been done, and that a lot of this seems to be driven socially and not based on science. You said you work with chronic pain patients. You're obviously also a psychiatrist. What have you observed in your day-to-day job?
Well, in chronic pain patients, we're talking about patients who've got functional pain syndromes and, for example, fibromyalgia, who've got cancer pain or terminally ill and are getting treatment for palliative care, as well as patients who are in severe pain from mechanical problems like failed back surgeries and injuries and so on. There is a definite role for cannabis and cannabinoid related agents in patients like these. But as it stands, with what we have available, there is not a consistent product that we can say, this is what you're getting. And it's no better currently than what is available. And I think one of the big problems is what is available is not that great anyway, because we've been relying for years on the opiate-based, which is heroin extracts, the opiate-based drugs like codeine and morphine and pethidine and so on. So, that's already a problematic long-term substance. So cannabis is an exciting prospect once we know a lot more about it, and once we know how to get it into the right mix and without side effects and without chronic, where patients can use it for long periods of time without issues. It really is very exciting going forward in pain management. But with psychiatry, the problem is that when people read these things on the social media, especially young people who are constantly on social media and are getting information almost instantaneously, they automatically assume, well, it's being used medicinally, it's being used in the medical profession, therefore it must be okay, which was the same mistake made with painkillers for years and years, not just by young people, but by the general population. And when young people, in a person with a young developing brain between the ages of sort of 13, 14, when they start messing around to about 20, that brain is permanently affected by the use of cannabis. That brain can become permanently ill. There are studies which have been done which show that cannabis use early on in the developing brain can induce schizophrenia-like illnesses. And that's where we see problems on a daily basis in practice. And that really is the huge concern. If we're going to get into this without due, without any, you know, things put into place to prevent misconceptions, we're going to end up with a whole generation of people with chronic brain illnesses.